the far distance, that's the sandbar. So there's a harbor right along this edge here. You can charter a boat and then bring out that sandbar there. On the bottom, it looks like two pools. That's actually a native Hawaiian fish pond. So what the Hawaiians did was they lined up. They made a line all the way to the mountains, to the ocean. They stood shoulder to shoulder, and they passed rocks down from one person to the next, all the way to the bottom. That wall is about 5 feet tall, 4,000 feet long. On the right side, if you can see that sand part, it's actually slots in the wall. We call them makahas. They're about 2 or 3 inches wide. What the fish did was they swam in, they fed off their nutrient-rich water down here. They get so fat they can't swim out. So what they do, they just throw the nets out, catch whatever they need, and then release what they don't, right? This fish pond was big enough to support all the communities up to the North Shore. So this was like their trading post, right? You bring pork or clothes, and then they give you fish. This is the biggest one that they had in Hawaii back then. It's one of the best remaining, most preserved ones also, yeah. On the right side, there's a little beach because of the way the tides work. So she lives, Hawaiians believe she lives in Kilauea, the active volcano on the Big Island. It's actually the longest active volcano in the world right now. The story goes, Pele really liked the chief of Hawaii. So I don't know if you guys know Hawaii, but the Big Island is down here, Kauai's up here, and we're kind of like in the middle. She wanted to send her little sister Hiaka to get her boyfriend for her. At first, Hiaka refused. So Pele, being the fire goddess that she is, she kidnapped Hiaka's girlfriend and told her, if you don't get my boyfriend, I'm going to kill your girlfriend. Her boyfriend probably owed her child support. So we were in Hakipu'u Valley. Did we say Hakipu'u?
Hakipu'u.
Now we're in Ka'ava. We say Ka'ava, everyone.
Kala'ava.
Ka'ava.
Ka'ava.
We'll work on it. So in the Hawaiian language, you just say all the vowels. Okay? Also in the Hawaiian language, when you see a W in the middle of a word, usually it's pronounced as a V. So that's why we say Ka'ava. What else word has a W in the middle? Hawaii. There you go. So we say Hawaii. Can we say Hawaii, guys?
Hawaii.
Yeah. So when you guys go home and you feel bougie, you guys are gonna your friends, right? You say Hawaii here. So it's a Hawaii because there's an extra I at the end, right? Like I said, we say all vowels. On our way here, we passed those bunkers up in the wall. We all saw those bunkers, right? So those are from World War II. During the attack on Pearl Harbor, what the Japanese did was they parked their vessels right out here. The planes flew in low. They flew into our valley over these mountains right to Pearl Harbor. So during a second wave of attacks, the U.S. government took over the ranch during World War II, and they built those bunkers into the wall. So they go about 150 feet deep in. They make a U. In the middle, there's a watchtower. They used to have big guns on both sides that could shoot 15 miles offshore. And luckily, nothing ever came. Right? Anybody been to Pearl Harbor yet? Awesome. So Pearl Harbor, we have USS Missouri, which is the Mighty Mo, the battleship in the movie Battleship. That ship is also where the Japanese signed their surrender after World War II, yeah. So big significance in American history. Everything here is privately owned. So Hakipu'u, which is the valley where we're in, Kualoa, and this is Ka'ava. It's about 4,000 square acres. It's owned by the Morgan family. So in the 1840s, missionaries came to Hawaii. What do missionaries bring when they go to places? Disease. You've been here before, right? You heard this story. So, just like the Native Americans, right? Hawaii is the most isolated island chain in the world. There's nothing around us for 2,000 miles. You guys know from the airplane ride, right? So when the missionaries came, a lot of the Hawaiian people, they died from smallpox. So one of the missionaries, his name was Dr. Jared Judd, is from Boston. Anybody from Boston? No Boston people. So he actually saw a big need for medical care for Hawaiian people. So he took all of the English medical journals, he translated them to Hawaiian. Back then, Hawaiian wasn't a written language, so he had to teach people how to read also, yeah? He helped stabilize that population. So with doing so, he earned the trust of King Kamehameha III, the king at that time. And the king allowed him to purchase the land. So him and his son, about 10 years, purchased all three valleys for about $25,000. Very good deal, right? Who is his realtor?
Yeah.
So a lot of companies have come in trying to buy the land because of its beauty, but the family refuses to sell because they want to keep the natural beauty the way it is, right? They don't want to have big resorts and casinos built back here. Their name is Morgan, but they're pretty Hawaiian. Yeah, they've been in this in Hawaii for 8 generations now. It's been passed down from family to family. One of the generations was all girls, so some lucky gentleman from the Morgan family married into the Judge family, and now it's owned by the Morgans. Yeah, very good owners. Like I said, keeping the natural beauty the way it's right, so we can all come here and enjoy it. Anybody recognize this field?
Yep.
Yeah, you've been here before. She's live. I know she's been here before.
When they're running.
Yeah. So it's the part with the G for the big animals are on them, right? So they came out that gate back there. They drove up on these hills. They came around. This is when they start playing the theme song. Anybody know the theme song? Yeah. Oh, nice picture first. Nice picture. This way. Background. Ready? So on the Big Island and on Maui, it's the only place in the U.S. where you can snowboard in the morning and then go surfing in the afternoon. Yeah, it's above that dew point, so it snows up there. Yeah. What we're looking at right now is our agricultural part of our ranch. During COVID, we had to shut down all tourists and all tourist tours, right? So the ranch, they really had to flex their agriculture power. after this tour? We might be a little bit late. Does anyone recognize this scene here? So this is from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdoms, the first movie of Chris Pratt. Yeah, this was the last scene. So that volcano back there, it blew up, erupted, boom. Lava came down the slopes, ran right over this bunker here. And they were in the dinosaur balls right on top of the hill. They rolled down, they hid behind this log here. A little raptor was gonna eat them. A bigger dinosaur ate the raptor. They jumped out of the machines. They ran, they jumped to the ocean that was CGI'd right behind us. Yeah, so welcome to Hollywood, guys. Yeah.